What if a single wall of rock, ice, and water suddenly came crashing down from the Himalayas, and there was almost no time to get out of its path? That is the nightmare unfolding along the Nepal-Tibet border, where a catastrophic flash flood has swept through communities, destroyed critical infrastructure, and left hundreds of people unaccounted for. And tonight, rescuers aren't just searching for survivors, they're also racing against the possibility of another flood. The disaster struck Wednesday in Nepal's northern Rasuwa district, along the Lenda Kola and Bhotekoshi River system near the border with Tibet. Videos from the area show an enormous surge of muddy water and debris rushing through the border region, carrying away vehicles, buildings, roads, and bridges. At least 9 people had been confirmed dead in the latest reports, but officials warned that the number could rise dramatically as rescuers reach areas that have been cut off. And here's where this story becomes even more alarming. Nepal's tourism authorities reported that at least 384 travelers were missing, including 105 Indians, 93 Nepalis, 3 Americans and 12 British nationals. Several South Korean workers involved in hydropower construction were also reported missing, while other foreign nationals were believed to be among those unaccounted for. Those numbers are still developing, and authorities are working to determine exactly how many people remain stranded, missing, or safely evacuated. So what caused a flood powerful enough to tear through entire settlements? The exact chain of events is still being investigated, but scientists and officials suspect an earthquake may have triggered an ice and rock avalanche into the Lenda Kola River. Reuters reported that a magnitude 4 earthquake was detected roughly 7 minutes before the time shown on security footage of the disaster, although that does not by itself prove the earthquake caused the avalanche. Experts at the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development say an ice rock avalanche is the suspected trigger, but the precise cause remains unconfirmed. And that uncertainty matters because the danger may not be over. Authorities say a blockage is still lodged upstream, raising fears that another surge of water could suddenly move downstream. Residents living along the river have been urged to stay alert and move toward safer ground, while flood warnings have also been issued in India's Bihar and Uttar Pradesh states because rivers flowing from Nepal eventually enter the Indian plains. The destruction is already enormous. Roads and bridges have been washed away, homes have been damaged or buried in mud, and hydropower facilities have suffered major impacts. Nepal's energy ministry estimated that about 430 megawatts of electricity supply had been affected, more than 12% of the country's total hydropower capacity. For a country that depends heavily on hydropower, that's not just an infrastructure problem. It could have consequences far beyond the immediate disaster zone. Across the border in Tibet, the situation is also serious. A massive mudslide hit the Jirong border area, disrupting roads, communications, and power links. Chinese state media reported that hundreds of rescuers were being deployed, with more than 500 personnel sent toward the affected crossing. President Xi Jinping ordered what Chinese authorities described as all-out search efforts and called for stronger monitoring and early warning systems to guard against secondary disasters. Meanwhile, Nepal's police and military are working through extremely difficult conditions. Helicopters have been used or prepared for evacuations, but high water, debris, and the mountainous terrain are making access extremely difficult. India has offered humanitarian assistance, South Korea is preparing a rapid response team, and authorities on both sides of the border are coordinating rescue and relief efforts. There is also a painful reminder from just last year. In July 2025, another major flood struck the same broader Nepal-China border region, washing away the Friendship Bridge at Rasuwa and killing at least 9 people, with others reported missing. That earlier disaster was later linked to the sudden drainage of a superglacial lake in Tibet, not simply ordinary rainfall. The repeated disasters are raising fresh questions about how vulnerable these high-altitude Himalayan communities and infrastructure really are. For now, the focus is painfully simple: find the missing, evacuate people still in danger, and prevent a second wave from turning an already devastating disaster into something even worse. The final death toll and the full scale of the destruction are not yet known, and every hour matters for the people still waiting to be found. What happened in the Himalayas is a reminder of just how quickly a remote natural hazard can become an international emergency, affecting tourists, workers, communities, electricity supplies, and major trade routes all at once. As rescue teams push deeper into the affected areas, the world is watching for one thing above everything else: how many people can still be brought home alive. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Prime Wire, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news. Thanks for watching.